I had already put the plan in place, right? So I hit my so we're going to my other sister-in-law's house for Christmas, right? So I already had sent a text to,
Haitians in
my
Chicago.
brother-in-law.
Wow.
I said, hey, I need you to have the basketball court set up for one of the days when I'm up there, right? Because listen,
You
you
know,
throw
you
out
know,
something like that,
you
you know.
probably won't be able to be outside, right? Just
Oh
throwing
no,
it
no,
out
no.
there.
We was gonna be inside. We was gonna be
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Don't
Just letting you
listen.
know, because Illinois,
Oh,
dead winter.
we would have had
It
to
don't
figure it
matter
out.
though.
All right, it
Even
don't
if
matter.
even if they didn't have an inside court, he getting this work.
Absolutely,
What you not gonna do is
absolutely.
try me. Listen, you know how I
Nah,
go.
Not gonna
no.
hold you.
Put up a milk
Ev-
crate
We
if we need
we
to.
we
Evan's
would
gonna
have
shoot.
we'd have waited to the spring. We'd have took it to the
Nah,
sticks.
Nah, couldn't
Evan's
happen.
gonna shoot. Evan's gonna shoot like far left, so the wind takes it right into the basket. Is that how you
yeah.
guys play
And
in
listen, you
Chicago?
figure it out. You figure it out.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So yeah. So I reached
Like
out
field goal
last week.
kickers? Yeah. Like
I reached out last week, and my sister-in-law said, she said he's not coming. He's doing Christmas with his family. I said,
He's
oh,
scared,
okay.
bro. He's scared.
So,
He's
I sent the
scared.
text back. All right, that's cool. Well, just let him know, next time. Well, I let him know. I already had the court set up. So you let him know next time I see him, it's on site. So
dang.
if he hears this, he knows. Next time you see me, it's on site.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. I am your guy, Hans, here with my boys, Evan, Lou, and in the background, back this week is the Pod Mamba here to grace us with his technical expertise to make sure we're on track and sounding beautifully for you guys. Glad that you're here joining us. So, guys, we just had the finale. There you have it. We've reached the finale of the in-season tournament. Mission accomplished, NBA. Fans have been more tuned in and engaged during the first half of the season than they have been for years. I mean, this tournament has just been riddled and seasoned with so many storylines. We have the emergence of Haliburton, the implosion of the Pelicans, and of course, begrudgingly, the Lakers are the first franchise to win the in-season tournament. I know we're all sad and in mourning about it, but nevertheless, it was a success. I, for one, am excited to see what this in-season tournament evolves into. I think the sky is the limit for this, and it is refreshing for me to see people just as excited as I am about the first half of the NBA season, rather than just kind of ignoring it and going on to other sports and, just waiting for the All-Star break basically to start tuning in. So it's been a resounding success. But there was some surprises in this in-season tournament that we didn't see coming, especially given our last episode and our predictions. I mean, I know my bracket was busted from the beginning, just all messed up. Glad I ain't put no money on it. I'm frugal out here in these streets. So we're just going to jump right into it. My boy, Ev, I want to know your take and get your take on it. First, your general take. How did you experience the knockout and the elimination round of the in-season tournament?
Well, I enjoyed the tournament from the beginning, especially once it got to Vegas. I wore my Knicks shirt today because I had it picked out to wear last week. When I picked us to win this tournament, did
Got you.
not happen. But had to stay true loyal to my guys. But I enjoyed every aspect of it, and we've touched on that from time to time. To say, to speak on the finals, I'm glad that the teams took it seriously. Shout out to the Lakers for winning the inaugural tournament. I think it's big that a major franchise like the Lakers wins the first tournament, it adds that legitimacy to it. It's in the record books. You can't take it away from the team, and specifically, you can't take it away from LeBron James. I've got to give this man his props publicly. He's about to be 39 years old in 2 weeks. And I watched the player not only take the tournament seriously, not only take the final game seriously, but he came in and specifically on that semifinal game said, I'm taking this game over and I'm winning this game. And to be able to turn it on like that at 38 years old, not a lot of players can do that. We haven't seen any player at that age be able to do that before. So for him to take it as seriously as he did, for him to make it mean something, and for him to say it's important that the Lakers as a franchise with their history win this tournament, I got to give our props, our shout out to him because he definitely took it upon himself to pull out this win and pull out this tournament. And shout out to the Pod Mamba. You're a Lakers fan. Your team won. You get to enjoy that. There's nothing bad I can say about that.
Got you. So Lou, during the aftermath of the tournament, they were interviewing players, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and some of the players were saying that it's great to win it, but they were making that distinction of, it's not the Larry Bryant trophy. Well, they were saying it's not the real championship, but they're still happy to win it. Even the announcers, Mike Breen, were saying, it was great. They're champions and they had to make that distinction. It's not the Larry O'Brien, but they're still champions. My question to you, Lou, is where are you seeing this in-season tournament championship accolades fall within the rest of the accolades that the league has? What value is this going to attain moving forward? Now, we know this is the inaugural year, right? And there has been some hiccups, which we've talked about in previous episodes of it getting off the ground and people not really knowing the rules, point differentials and things of that nature. But it seems that everybody's bought in now. Everybody's on board. Where do you see the value of this in-season tournament accolades going?
I mean, it's like I said when we discussed it. This especially for this particular year with the players and the teams that were in the semis. This was about legacy, personal legacy for them, and why it was so important for somebody like LeBron personally to win this. Oh, and I remember there's an interview with Carmelo where they ask him, about this, and so he's like, "Well, it's not the Larry. I mean, you call it the Gary, for lack of better terms, but it's not the Larry, but where do I see it holding weight? I think it holds a little bit more weight than All-Star, just because it's an individual team being able to win this. But it definitely is not even just a notch; it's a couple notches below winning the NBA championship. And I think for the Lakers, shout out to them winning it. Shout out to the great script writing, and I think that you have to set realistic goals, right? If you're not vying for NBA championships, you go for something that you can realistically attain. And I think that this is great for LeBron and his legacy. The Lakers, like Evan mentioned, as a franchise of that magnitude, you're talking about one of the major franchises in the NBA to be able to win. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that this, it's a step above winning something All-Star related, but it's nowhere near winning the NBA championship. It's great, I think, for the mid-table teams because the part of it is you have the lower table and mid-table teams. What are they really playing for? Right? Because some teams, even though they're great, they're not getting out. At best, they'll do second round of the playoffs. You're not playing a 7-game series. You're playing this knockout tournament style. It gives everybody a fair shot, at being able to be able to win this. So I think it does something for the lower market teams, and being able to garner some more viewership, doing something more for fandom. It's able to now kind of bring more interest other than just strictly looking forward to All-Star Weekend and the NBA championship. But like I said, man, it gives the mid-table and the lower table market teams to be able to have something to aspire to. But yeah, definitely nowhere near the Larry at all.
So one thing I wonder about, in Lou, I know you're our resident expertise when it comes to the sport of soccer, having played yourself. I do wonder, will it reach the levels of MLS? Will it ascend to at least be competitive in that nature?
But
Now,
I'll tell you right now, it's already at MLS level because it's the MLS.
You mean a European soccer?
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, if you talk
European,
about
my
like
bad.
Champions League, it's
Yeah.
gonna take a very long
So
time.
will it be banner worthy? So, you guys have been in different arenas. You've seen the banners for Eastern Conference Championship, Western Conference Championship. Will teams start to hang in season tournament championship banners? Will it be that worthy of an accolade?
I think maybe at some point you'll start thinking about stuff like in racing, the Triple Crown. Excuse me, in soccer, in the European soccer especially, they talk about being able to win your League Cup, being able to win Champions League, and then being able to win the in season tournament of your particular league, right? And being able to win all three of those things is something of a feat in itself. But the main difference is, when you look at a Champions League in soccer, is that you're playing the best of the best around, the different European leagues. And I think that's a major difference, right? Because in the NBA, you're relegated to, I mean, the US, the NBA has the best basketball players in the world.
Mhm.
If they open this up to something a little bit bigger, maybe we can think about that conversation. But and when I say open it bigger, meaning like instead of okay, it's US competing against these other teams, it's like okay, well, what is the best basketball team in Greece, and then the best basketball team, for instance, like okay, Lakers won this in season tournament, but then now because they've done that, and the various countries are doing that,
But
and it's like
that's
who are the best.
But that's why I said MLS originally to begin with, because I
Yeah.
don't see it being like European
It's
soccer leagues. Those things are like to the
Yeah.
level of like football, what
Exactly.
football is here in America, right?
Exactly.
Like that's,
And it's
I don't
exactly.
see it doing that.
So that's
but
my point. And right. So that's what I was saying. It's already at the MLS level. I think we just have to kind of temper our expectations. But people are already hailing Silver as probably as the greatest commissioner of the NBA thus far, just because of the
relax for a
success.
second.
It's a lot, right? He doesn't have bars about him yet, like Stern does. But I think that what was been able to be accomplished with this, something new, something really giving the fans something to look forward to. They're already at the MLS level. I think what they're just going to continue to do is refine them. It's going to be what's going to make this more exciting is, again, like I said, the lower table teams, the mid table, lower table, the ones that really know that they're not going to compete for an NBA championship, them really going hard at this, because let's look at it. Is anybody expecting Indiana to be in championship contention? Not really, right? But them being in contention to win this particular in-season tournament made it exciting because you're like, yeah, this team, who I know they don't have a chance to win a chip, but they're competing at a high level for this particular tournament, makes this more interesting. And it kind of works. I mean, it kind of helps the fatigue that you would normally have for, okay, yeah, I'm expecting these two teams to end up in the finals, or these two teams to end up in the conference finals, right? Like you've seen year after year after year. You're combating that fatigue by giving people another opportunity to see some other type of competition in the league, mixing it up, especially with it being single elimination. You're really giving everybody a fighting chance.
Well, I think that's part of why it has potential to grow and grasp in and how we perceive it in the future. We got to remember this is the first year of it. When you're talking about the domestic cups, overseas and whatnot, these are tournaments that have been going on for generations, really.
Mhm.
So, what may have been looked at as, this is lesser than 20, 30 years ago. There's still a level of importance to them now. That's why they hold weight in the in the trouble mindset of whatnot of trying to win all three, because there's history that's involved in those now as well. You got to have that first year, that first few years, you got to have some drama built into it in order to build its own history in itself. That's why what Indiana did in this series is so cool. It's not just that they made it to the finals, it's that they knocked out the two clear favorites in the East
Mhm.
on the way to getting to the finals. It's one thing to, if it was just a bunch of, if I throw myself in there, if they would have beat, the Knicks and the Magic to make it to the finals, that'd be a cute story, but nobody would be paying as much attention to it. No, on that stage, they beat who everybody thinks is the number one A and number one B team in the East. So now they didn't bring it all the way home, because they didn't win the championship.
The script
But
didn't
well,
dictate that.
I'm not gonna
The
do
producers
LeBron
didn't
like that.
allow that.
I'm not gonna do LeBron like that. Although New Orleans was out there looking like my boy that Terrence Crawford fought, looking like Errol Spence out there. So I question what was wrong with everybody, but but when you have excitement like that and unexpected teams like that, it's gonna add to the excitement and the prestige
Yeah,
of
but Ev,
of
you
this.
have that only because it's not a 7 game series, right?
And you need that. You need that.
But that's my point, right? It's like like this tournament levels the playing field, and kind of like they have in football. You say any given Sunday, right?
Yeah.
It levels the playing field, and if that team is their best team to show up that day, they're able to move on, right? And that's why I'm saying it gives these mid-table and lower table teams an opportunity. We
I
see
agree with
during
you.
the season all the times where it's like, was that team supposed to lose to them? Now you're thinking, these you can't be thinking about if you're the 1 to 4 seeds, 1 to 5 seeds in the league. Well, who am I resting, right? Especially when you're looking around the in-season tournament time, you have to be on your P's and Q's, especially because you have a team that knows, again, they're not really competing for a championship, but they're going to go hard at this because they know they have one shot, and all they need is one shot to be able to get you out of there, to be able to get them closer to it. So what I do think for the league, what it does is it's really going to push those lower table teams that are used to just, hey, look, I'm just gonna tank, or like I really don't care, we're just gonna kind of skate by. No, you're actually playing for something, and you have a chance to play for something because it's one and done, right? It's just like going into the NCAA tournaments like March Madness. You have an opportunity to get something for your franchise. And I think that's really the biggest thing that this in-season tournament brings to the league.
And what
Yeah, and
and what's
I
my
think
bad.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say was I agree. I do agree with that. I think what's cool about it is, and I'll say it quick, being that it's at the beginning of the season, it gives all teams an opportunity to go hard for it while not impacting the ultimate goal, which is to win the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the season. So this tournament being awesome, being competitive, doesn't have impact, so to speak, on the end goal. What it does potentially have impact on is if it opens up questions about your team in
Hmm.
this early setting that either you may not have had, or you may have hoped that you didn't have to answer so early on, be it somebody like the Bucks and their head coach, be it somebody like the Celtics and their ability to perform in the clutch, being somebody like the Pacers. And what do you do when the team locks down Halliburton? Who else is going to step up? or being somebody like New Orleans and it's what the hell just happened to y'all. So
Beignets.
hey, I mean, so excitement like that early in the season, I think is good.
And you bring up a great point of thank you for stealing my take. It's the
You're welcome.
reverberations of the in-season tournament. That's really what I'm excited to see about. And you listed them. No, and it's fine. I think it's great. Like the reverberations, right? So things that teams are able to point out early on, which had we not had this in-season tournament, which may not have had the competition to be as high as it is, teams may not have been scheming like they would have. We would not see these things. We would have had, which we've had, I'm not going to lie, in the past couple of years, lackluster starts to the playoffs, right? Think about it. How many playoff series are you seeing where it really doesn't get started until like 2 or 3 games in? And you're like, oh, okay, that's when teams figure it out. But given that we have this going on at the beginning of the season, teams are seeing and scheming differently now. I think it really tees up for us to have a really great remainder of the season. And that's really what I'm looking forward to, the reverberations and what it means across the league. And also, too, teams that didn't get in. You get what I'm saying? Like teams that had injuries and now are recovering from the injuries and are like, oh, y'all talking about them, but we're still here. Like, so they have something to say. They have something to prove. So I'm really excited to see the reverberations. But Ev, you spoke on them twice. I know you're upset. Let's have a safe space for Ev here to vent his frustrations regarding the implosion of these New Orleans Pelicans when they came up against the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think anybody predicted the Pelicans to lose by 55, 56, 54,
Fours.
54? Lakers
54.
are still scoring on them. I don't know what it ended up.
Three.
It was bad.
Or
It
rather,
was
3
bad.
words. I told you.
Ev, you had them being a surprise, a dark horse, outside of your Knicks, of course. They were going to go and lose to your Knicks. We understand that. But you had them being a surprise and a dark horse coming out the West. What happened, man?
The worst thing you can do as a basketball team, in my opinion, is quit. And the second thing you could do is not show up. And I feel like New Orleans did both of those things on Thursday night against the Lakers. What upsets me the most about it is that I just feel like they didn't have effort, that they didn't try. There was a point in the third quarter where I text you guys and I said, just watch Zion Williamson the next 4 times up and down the court. Don't focus on anything else. Just watch him. And I don't even know which 4 times y'all chose, but I guarantee y'all saw the same thing. Y'all saw jogging up one way, may not have made it up half court one way, lackluster effort offensively on the other side. The Lakers absolutely punked him, dared him to shoot. LeBron James, 38 years old LeBron James, was blowing by him on offense. And it just frustrates me because the reason that I picked Zion, that I said, and me and Lou went back and forth, and we've gone back and forth throughout the season. I just felt like you've been through enough. You're saying that you're taking this seriously now. At some point, it has to click. But when you're on national television and the world is watching and you don't even show and you look out of shape, you look very out of shape.
I was about to say bad.
He hasn't
Bad.
bought in. He hasn't bought in.
He's
buying the wrong things.
He's buying out.
Hello.
That's what he's doing. He's buying
Take
out.
out.
And
Take out.
I don't mean
Carry
to
out.
do
Uber.
that. I feel bad
Eats.
doing that. I literally feel
Grub
bad
Door.
doing it.
Dash.
But there's something there. He's not taking this seriously. That's really what it comes down to.
What is he not taking seriously?
I don't think he's taking
his job.
his career. He's not taking his job seriously. He's
not.
not taking his career. He's not taking his diet. You can't show up to that game and say I was too laid back. You know,
Was
and
that his presser?
that was his presser. Yeah, he
That
said
was.
maybe I was too laid back
Maybe I was too
against.
laid back.
And here's the
Fam,
thing. Here's the thing.
That's
When
horrible.
you juxtapose that and listen, Lou, I got to give you all the time to cook here. But when you juxtapose that and when they had the press conference with him and Brandon Ingram and they asked, well, what would y'all do, you know, if y'all won? And they just start giggling like kids, and you juxtapose that versus, you know, a Tyrese Haliburton saying, look, I'm serious about this, you know, like I want to win this. I've never won anything. LeBron and them taking it seriously. You should have been embarrassed to be, and not just Zion, Brandon Ingram, the entire team. You should have been embarrassed to be on the court with a 38-year-old man showing you all what taking your job seriously is all about.
who's the leader of that team?
Me, JJ Redick, he left 3 years ago.
Yeah, facts. And it's sad to say because it's looking like it's CJ, but they won't let it be CJ.
Thank you.
And
I just touched it
and
exactly.
that's the problem.
And if you
That's the
remember
problem.
CJ's comments last year when Zion
Mhm.
opted not to be in the playoffs, not to play, he was very vocal about how he felt about it. And look, CJ has played with one of the greatest players in the NBA, right?
Time out
So-
real quick. I'm gonna let you go, but CJ McCollum was full speed horrible Thursday night as well. So I don't want to hear about him either. But continue.
Hey man, he had a collapsed lung, man. Relax, man. Come on.
Listen, man, come back when
Yeah.
your lungs ready, okay? You look
Collapsed, but he
full-
was out there.
And at
Zion
least he
would've
was out
been
there.
speed horrible.
And
He
he
was
was
shooting. He was shooting and dribbling and missing like his lung was still.
he was
collapsed.
trying to do whatever he could for
Zion
his
wasn't
team.
shooting.
Zion,
Wasn't
yo,
shooting.
look, I'll tell you, there's only one thing Zion knows how to shoot well. So,
Wow. Wow.
look, fam.
Yeah, listen, I gotta take it, man.
The point is that when I mentioned this, that they want it to be Zion. Zion is not in, and I think that's really one of the biggest things that people have to get over. People want to look at Zion like he's in, right? Like he's not. He doesn't have the same drive. He hasn't the same that competitive spirit. He doesn't. He's never had it. Not off rip. Zion has always benefited from being able to be the best player on the court by being the most athletic, the most bullying, so on and so forth, just by sheer fact of his physicality, right? His physical gifts. You're in the NBA now. Everybody's physically gifted, especially in this era. You have to put some effort into it. Zion has not put effort into it from day one. He's shown flashes of how and why he can be great, but those have been strictly off his physical ability in terms of doing the work. When we talk about guys like Haliburton, talk about Shea Gilly, talk about guys like Ja, talk about these upcoming guys, and why they've been able to take this next leap is because they put in the work to be able to be a top level, top tier talent, knowing that not only do I have this physical capabilities, but what do I need to do to make sure that I'm a better basketball player? What has Zion done?
But to Ev's credit too, though, right? Although most of the blame should be squared on the franchise player, which is Zion, he's not without veterans in there. You have Brandon Ingram, who's been in the league before.
Agreed.
Who's supposed to be a veteran alongside with him. And basically, I'm not saying mentor him per se, but give him cues and setting up the stage for him. And we are not seeing that from him. Now, granted, I will say he was putting up some buckets to kind of keep him in there in the beginning. And then it just, when the Lakers went on that run on the third, I think it was, you could see the defeat in their face. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I think it was the third. You could see the defeat in their face. And when a team's body language is defeated, when you win the game here,
it's over.
It's just done.
It's over. And then the other team is going to key on that and just drill you.
And I bring in the question, the coaching as well too. Like, when do you step in and galvanize, or can you? And I know it's different. It's not college, right? It's not college where the coach is the head honcho. He has so much control and they have to revere and respect them. These are grown men who are getting paid millions and you ain't going to tell them to do nothing. At the end of the day, you ain't going to tell them to do nothing. But I feel like as much blame as Zion is getting, which is deservedly so, I think blame should be spread out to other members of the Pelican organization as well, because that was a horrible showing. That was an opportunity for the franchise to say, hey, we're still here. We're not the place where players go to die. You know, we're not that franchise that's always going to be struggling. It was not only, I know we were, because we're the NBA, we like to make the narrative, right? The player narrative. And they were making the narrative about Zion versus LeBron, passing the torch, et cetera, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
no,
I think that's
it needed to be
narrative.
An opportunity for the Pelicans as an organization, like the Pacers did, and they took hold of that, right? The Pacers took hold of that. They understood the bigger picture. It was an opportunity for the Pelicans to say, nah, we're not to be trifled with. We're an organization that needs to be respected. We got ballers here, and we're going to make you guys respect us. And that, to me, was very troubling. Just like we discussed last time, right? If you're being blown out by 20, 30, at some point, we're playing for respect. You lost by 50s, bro. 50. And you didn't come with it on the court. It was just like, oh, well, it is what it is.
To your point about veterans, they didn't take it seriously. And when it looks clearly that the leaders of your team, the quote unquote leaders of your team, your franchise players, didn't take it seriously, you're not going anywhere as a team. That's a team, and I hate this because I had so much high hopes for them, but I gotta call it how I see it. That's the reason you have a team that will show up and look good one night and then look bad the next night. That's where inconsistency comes from, when your best players aren't taking it seriously all the time.
Look, I understand the piece of like, yes, this is on the franchise. I agree. But you know, like we're talking about Haliburton, right? And how he stepped up. You know, it's also important for these guys that are up and coming to step up. And Zion being as high as that he came in, right? The draft pick, when you were a number 1 draft pick, and he was drafted before Haliburton, at that, there's more that we have to see from you. What's the ROI on Zion, right? Now when we're looking at the guys of your draft class, of this 19 draft class, where do you realistically fall? You also have comments of talking about buying in to what your team is doing. So clearly you don't look bought in. But not just that, you have an opportunity to show out and show what your stock, what you're really worth. You don't do it. Now, if the team starts thinking about, is Zion the direction that we want to go in moving forward, what are other teams going to think about Zion? What does he look like in terms of the trade? I think there's trickle-down effects for somebody of Zion who's just, we know what we're getting with BI. We know what we're getting with CJ, right? And some of these guys. Zion has been in the league long enough where these certain things we shouldn't be seeing from him, especially when you have a guy on the other side of it, like Haliburton, rising up to the occasion, right? Again, I agree with you 1,000%. It's a team. At the end of the day, it's a team effort. You know what I mean? We need everybody on the team to step up. Your coaching staff has to be able to figure out how do we scheme properly. But at the end of the day, like you mentioned, man, it comes down to pride. When you're playing this game, how much do you care about your profession, right? And for me, the way the Pelicans showed out, it's what I was talking about with, hey, we're just happy with being a mid-level, lower-level tier team and just kind of skating on by. We'll should give a couple highlights, a couple exciting games for our fans. Nah, you should be trying to win something, to bring something back to your home, to your home market, to your home city. And the Pelicans didn't play that way. Bring back the Supersonics.
I'll say this before we move on to the other side of the spectrum, which would be the Indiana Pacers. There's been rumblings in the NBA lately about looking at the Detroit Pistons front office and their lack of movement in regards to the Pistons record right now. And they're basically saying, no, we're going to stay the course, et cetera, et cetera. I will say this, that the New Orleans Pelicans front office needs to take some introspection given their showing from the in-season tournament. Ev talked about it, the ripple effects of the in-season tournament. I do hope that they take this as a learning experience and do a introspection moment of not only the team, but the organization. What direction do we want to go in? What culture do we want to have in place? And what is legit our goal? What do we want to reach and how do we get there? Because this was a piss poor showing for the New Orleans Pelicans. But on to the other side of the coin, guys. who seized the moment, the Indiana Pacers. They came in and they seized the moment. They grabbed everybody's attention. This was the coming out party of no nickname Haliburton. And I am one who was rooting for him, of course, because always going to root against the Lakers to win.
That part.
Yes. But I'm so happy that they got the showing that they did. I'm so happy to see them seize the moment and they took it seriously. We saw after each game they won, they were celebrating like they won it. Like they were so happy to be here. You could tell that the team was locked in. They had one goal. I am curious to see the after effects. Was this a high for them? Or will they continue to build off of their success from the in-season tournament? Where do you guys land on this?
Look, man. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Oh, go ahead, Lou. You first.
Nah, because I had said this, when we talked about, teams during the season, early look. Indiana is where I had, where Orlando is where I hoped Indiana would be. I think Indiana is going to vie towards that still. Indiana's missing a couple pieces to be where Orlando is. Haliburton is leading his team. Not only, he's one of the league leaders in assists, right? Upped his game significantly, but he's also leading his team in scoring. And I don't think that's sustainable. He's going to need another guy. Haliburton is, if anything, is more the truer point guard. I see him more how like CP3 is. He can be a scoring threat, but he's going to do his best work when he has somebody else who can also be a significant scorer as well. And I think when they get some more pieces, we'll really see them as a true threat in the Eastern Conference. But I think they're going to continue to build from here. What's a better confidence booster than being a bottom, you're on the bottom 5 of the top 10, right? But you had an opportunity. You had a shot at winning this in-season tournament. I think this continues to give them the confidence. And also, look, man, they may be looking to add a couple pieces, before we get to the All-Star break to be able to kind of make themselves more formidable as they're looking towards the playoffs, towards the end of the season. So I think this is great for Indiana. I think Indiana right now is in a place that they haven't been since the Reggie Miller era, or even quietly, the PG era. You know what I mean?
I said the PG era. They went to conference finals.
Yeah, I feel you, but you also have guys that's giving you goose eggs. I will never forget. I'd never forgive him for that.
They made the conference finals. Indiana didn't even make the playoffs last season.
No, I'm agreed. No, I'm saying I think they're working their way towards being that again. They're missing pieces that will make them that type of team. I don't think, like I said, I don't think that they will be. I don't see them moving past the second round currently as is. But I do think that this is going to be this is the best way that they could be starting their season, with the way that Haliburton is really coming out this year, and also how the team has been playing. I think, if they're able to get 1 or 2 more pieces, they then become a team that you look at being able to challenge for a team that comes out of the Eastern Conference.
So agree with a lot of what Lou said. I go to team angle first. He brought up the Reggie Miller aspect of it. You look at that team, and just from the opening night of the in-season tournament, the way that crowd was. So you got a basketball crazy town. You've got a young ascending star that feels more connected with the fabric of that fan base than I would say even a Paul George did at any point. Like Haliburton, he feels like an Indiana Pacer, if that makes sense. Right?
Yeah, tripping. But go ahead.
No. I'm not saying.
but
I'm not saying.
I feel where Ed was coming, because PG wasn't even the guy. It was Danny Granger.
No,
Danny Granger didn't get hurt.
That's not what I mean.
After
Granger, that's not what I mean.
PG had his battles with LeBron, and they were facing him in the regular season, those games and those arenas were electric. Like,
I'm not talking about that. What I mean is that PG let us know for a while before he left Indiana that Indiana was not the place that he planned to stay at. So the connection between PG in Indiana always felt temporary, is what I'm saying. From the time he ascended to the point of I am one of the top players in the league. Like the connection between team and player didn't feel as homegrown, although it was homegrown. They drafted him, right? Halliburton, it feels more like an underdog player, unorthodox style player, married with underdog team, underdog fan base. That's just the feel that I got from this past couple weeks. But be that as it may, you know, yes, I'm hoping for, a long lasting marriage and success with player and team where they build with one another. One of the things that we called coming into this tournament is exactly what Lou said. They're undermanned and the Lakers exposed that clearly. They were blitzing Halliburton as soon as he crossed half court, didn't let him get direct drives to the hole. And we
Bruh,
saw,
they were
when
picking
you
him
have
up
it.
at full
Absolutely.
court.
Absolutely.
Full
Absolutely.
court.
And when we and his other players, his teammates weren't able to step up in the same way. And so for Halliburton, that's going to be the next step in his rise. Okay. Listen, you are no kidding the top player on the team's scouting report now coming in, right? There is a blueprint on how to play you, right? Yeah, he's still gonna get his extra, regular season and whatnot. But the next time that there's something on the line, when teams are focused on you, how is he gonna step up? We got a lot of young great players in this league right now, and he's added to the list now. The
Mm.
SGAs, the ants and whatnot,
Say his name properly,
but
man. Shea Gilly, bro.
yeah,
Come
Shea
on.
Gilly, absolutely. The Shea Gillies, the ants, but as tell them to call the Tatums and the Lucas and the whatnot and ask, what's the next stage of this? After it's cute, once the expectation rolls in, how do you deal with it? That's what's gonna be fascinating to see how Halliburton deals with that and how the Pacers deal with that as well. So interested to see.
For
Interested to see.
me, I I won't even go into that. I agree with what you're saying. Half of your take.
You don't
I think
agree
we
with the
have.
PG take.
I agree with half of it. I think we have hindsight because PG has been in the league for so long. So we're looking at from hindsight, meaning we've seen everything that's happened to PG, and towards the end of the Indiana career, it started becoming fractured and everything like that. But we forget the beginning and what it was and how he was ingrained and how he brought Indiana back to the relevancy and the just the electricity. And I don't see how we skip over that and go straight to Reggie, but I do understand how Indiana loves an underdog story because that's what Indiana always has been. That's what they're rooted in, right? That's their origin story, for lack of a better
Mm-hmm.
terminology. And he's fitting in great with that. So I do agree with that. But my take on this, I believe that this in-season tournament benefited Halliburton more than it did the Pacers. I believe that this in-season tournament put Halliburton on notice. I believe it raised his stock, and it also helped him to see how he compares with his peers in this league, right? Things that he needs to do. I don't believe that the Pacers are going to, like Lou said, it progress when it comes to the playoffs. They're still a couple moves away. I believe that this in-season tournament did expose them and it let them know that, hey, this is an area of weakness that we do need to work on. But I still believe that this Halliburton coming out was great for him. I just don't know if the team necessarily benefited as much as he did. Because right now, right, if we were to take like an all-star poll and everything like that, he's up there. You get what I mean? Like he's up there. And I'm willing to argue, would he have been up there as much had we had not had the in-season tournament, right? Think about it. He just had his first national televised game, right? And that's no mistake. That's because of how he's been performing in the in-season tournament. So I'm one who believes that this in-season tournament really benefited him more than they did the team. The team's only going to go so far, and that's not to down them or anything. They're improving. They finished 11th in the East last year. I believe that they will finish top 5, top 6 or so, depending on what happens with the Knicks and Cleveland and everything like that, that they have some Knicks snacks going on. Philadelphia's going to finish top 3.
No, funnish. No. Look, if you end up in a 4-5 situation and you have the Pacers playing Philadelphia, 7-game series, I think that's an interesting series.
No, I think it is an interesting.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
I think they'll be out the first round, but
agree. But I'm saying I think it's still a competitive series if you have them at 4 or 5. You know, I think it's a 6-game series. So I mean, I just
see them. I see it being the jump for Haliburton is higher than the jump of the actual team.
Agree.
Than the jump of the actual team.
Agree.
I think that's what we need to kind of taper down.
Let me ask you this, and this isn't my question. The Pod Mama's lurking in the shadows, feeding us stuff,
feeding us questions. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So
pose the Pod Mama's question.
I'm gonna pose this question.
I'll tell you who won. Go ahead.
If we saying that the Pacers, there's no way they're getting past the second round, depending on who they play, they're getting out in the first round. We see the Kings. They made it to the first round, 7th game last year. They're up there playing well this year. Who won the trade?
The Kings.
I think that's simple, bro. That's it.
They made the playoffs. Like
very simple, bro.
They made the playoffs.
Very
simple. Had the better record. They're the better team. That's just who won the trade. Like it's that simple. At the end of the day,
results.
I picked the Kings for a reason. And like Lou said, that's results. They've shown us clear results. The Pacers, they're coming. They're coming. They're ascending. They're moving in the right directions. As a Blazers fan, I'd love to see that ascension for my team. Definitely. I'd love for Scoot to have a coming out party like that. Even though Shaden's coming out,
I love to see what Shaden is doing, bro. I love it.
I cannot lie. When we all look at it, it's who's playing when it comes to May, who's playing when it comes to April. Like that's what matters. It's the Kings.
And then the Kings have all the other pieces, right? Indiana doesn't have Rick Schmitz, okay? They don't. You know what I mean?
Our second
have Del Davis.
Our second 90s Pacers shout out of the evening, right?
Del Davis, man. They ain't got Del Davis.
Because I can't shout out Roy Hibbert, bro. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't.
All right, when we used to play NBA Live, that's what we shouted out.
Shout out Mark Jackson and Travis.
Oh, not even, bro. Look, Travis Best
was a baller, man.
For sure. They don't have a Davis West. They don't have a David West, right? Like these are certain guys that you want to be able to have that are going to help. Facts. You know what I mean? Certain guys are going to be here to sit there and help to change how the game can go, right? Because
they need a Chuck Person on the wing. I feel you.
Look at
talk your talk.
You going back? Look at you.
Yo.
Oh man, Jalen Rose? Wow. No.
After the 81 points, man.
Look, who's gonna be there? Ron Artest to take shots at Henny at halftime. Buddy Hield is your Steven Jackson. Buddy Hield is your Steven Jackson. Buddy Hield is your Steven Jackson.
I don't know. Pacers, Steven Jackson.
If any, yeah, bro. So the Pacers, Steven Jackson. Yeah, look, man. Look, the guys that I do think, who, as they continue to gel, you're gonna see a lot. Mathurin has been doing his thing. I think Buddy Hield, man, once they start kind of using him more, using him properly, they have the pieces. They just need a couple more. Not having Nembhard, hurt them in the last game of the tournament because you miss out on the defensive capability that he brings. They're a young team. There's a lot, again, like I said, there's a lot to I'm looking forward to what they're able to do and what other pieces they can bring in. So long that they don't bring that bum Tristan Thompson back into the league, bro. Okay.
I know we need to move on from this, but I just have
the Cavs now.
I just have to say this. I have to say this. Miles Turner cannot give up 41 points and 20 rebounds to Anthony Davis and call himself a defensive center.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm not surprised
Thank you. I know he's going.
because
This is what
AD
AD's supposed to do.
Significantly better
AD's
and
supposed to
significantly
do
more
this.
talented.
If
but,
AD didn't do this, we would be definitely on this cast right now.
No, but
bashing him.
But you know what set this up though? LeBron set AD up to do this.
Absolutely.
That's
goes
what
back
made the
to my
difference.
point at the beginning.
LeBron set
charged
AD
the
up to do
whole
this.
team up, said we're going to Vegas and we're doing this. Watch me. That's
Let me
impressive, man.
let me say this. We've played the game. We're nowhere near professionals, but we've watched it for years and everything. Don't you think that sometimes they overcomplicate the game? At the end of the day, if you have such a glaring matchup, like a mismatch, who's gonna hold AD? You get what I'm saying? Like when they walk into any court in this NBA in this world, right? Like they have a mismatch, either LeBron or on the AD side, right? Like, do we think that they overcomplicate the game? Because what it looked like to me is they said, look, they don't have an answer for us down low on the inside with AD. We're going to kill them, along with we shut down Burton. We dare anybody else to beat us. Because Buddy is not the Buddy we saw back in. You get what I'm saying?
Like, don't get me wrong, Toppin balled, but Toppin not gonna do nothing for you.
So,
well, I would say that's been our argument for the past few weeks in our indictment of Anthony Davis for these past few years, that's the case most every night they step on the court.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
You don't get that.
Feed this man
every night. But we're not gonna harp on that. They won. He did his
thing. They did, man. Shout out to them, man.
It's kind of funny. He put up 41
respect
and 20
Anthony
in
Marshawn Davis Jr.
Hold on. It's kind of funny. The game he puts up 41 and 20 is the game where the stats don't count.
Right?
Don't do that. Stop it.
That's a little funny.
I've kept my silence long enough.
I've
kept my silence long enough.
I'm
now chiming in.
I just said we're not gonna do it.
No, I know what you're doing. It's a backhanded compliment.
All that evidence don't get
speak.
It's not a backhanded. He's just speaking factual statements.
Yes,
this is a factual statement.
I know where this game is at. I know where this is going.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. We just strictly it ends. It starts and ends with the fact that Lakers won the inaugural in-season tournament.
I just brought back Lakers Love Fest from 30 minutes ago. We came full circle back.
Lakers won to Gary.
They did, man.
No SpongeBob.
We're happy for LA. This
doesn't feel right.
Lakers
this doesn't feel like you guys mean it. It's just
what do you mean?
It just feels very sarcastic, and I don't appreciate
It's not sarcastic. They won. There's no sarcasm about it. It's facts.
Man. Shout out to the Lakers.
They got
their medal. LeBron got another MVP. He has an MVP trophy that nobody in the league.
Nobody in the world.
Until next year, but nobody has it.
Yeah,
he does.
Nobody.
He can stand on that.
I don't care about LeBron. I'm talking about the Lakers.
Stand on business.
We know you don't care about LeBron. That's the part that's funniest to me, that LeBron led this team to this tournament win, and Laker fans don't like LeBron. At least the one I know. Like
no,
I ain't gonna lie. I know a lot of Laker fans that don't like LeBron.
How many times Saturday did you tweet LeBron's a bum? Just tell us.
Every time he shot a 3-pointer, I thought of Christian. I was like,
he didn't shoot any threes.
LeBron had a great game.
He had it typed out and he couldn't send it. It made him so bad. He had to keep deleting the text. Oh, stupid LeBron. Dang, I can't send it.
No, LeBron had a great game.
Causing us to, I can't send it.
I just don't think
he didn't shoot any threes.
No, the Lakers made 2 threes the whole game.
No, I said LeBron didn't shoot any threes.
I know, but I'm saying no one shot threes in the Lakers. So, I mean, they beat the
why? When you have AD down there just killing.
Yeah. I mean, that should be the game plan every game. But
every game. Thank you, Christian. Every game. Like,
but this is what Hans is talking about. They make it.
Scam.
It's Darvin scam. Stop it. Put some respect on Darvin Hams, man. Come on, man.
Look,
this guy was a bad
your
boy.
coach,
I got
your coach got you.
Please don't.
An in-season tournament inaugural win. Inaugural in-season tournament. Your coach got you that. Okay.
Did he? Because I remember that game where everyone was mic'd up, and I didn't hear Darvin say anything on the coach's mic.
He didn't
Well,
have
that's
to.
not
He was
fair. That's
coaching.
not fair. I heard
He was
Willie
co-
Green saying everything, and you see where
Exactly.
that got
Willie
them.
Green's a great coach. He's telling players where to go. Get
Hands
their
up,
steps in.
hands up,
Darvish just
box
sitting back and
out,
relaxing, just watching the
Right.
game like the
Giving
rest
them
of us.
elementary
play
moves.
defense,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Try harder. No.
hustle.
Darvish is just like, hey, come here, man. Like, hey, you'll get it next time. You'll
Box
get
out,
it
Because
box
next
out,
time.
LeBron's the
box out.
coach.
Because
LeBron's the
hey,
coach.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Listen.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
we're finally in
LeBron has always been a
agreement.
coach. Yeah.
Okay, so Darvin's not the
LeBron shot
coach.
his
Darvin-
one trash 3, and he's like, you know what, guys? That was a heat check. My bad.
God,
Let's
you
stick to
bring
the
up-
game plan.
Y'all bring up a great point, so I'll ask it real quick. They have made a concentrated effort, both all of the media, of pointing out how smart, how intelligent LeBron James is on the court, and all these clips of him coaching up AD and talking about, when he spins, he's gonna spin back left, and you be right there, and you just pivot,
Yeah.
and then he'll stop, and then you block it, and yada yada yada. Right? Do you think, to Christian's kind of point, do you think that is underhanded shade at Darvin Ham? That let's point out the
Nah.
genius of the real coach on
Mm.
this team, LeBron
Nah.
James?
I don't think so. I think it's talking about LeBron's IQ, but and this is no shade to LeBron at all, bro. Some of these things, bro, we could call out, bro. It's not like Hans is saying. The game is not that complicated. Think about it, yo. Let's use the example of when you're playing, whether it's NBA Live or 2K. You think of certain things when you see certain patterns. And then you may be like, okay, I'm going to do this because I'm going to force this play to do that. Bro, how many of us know we can force Jaylen Brown to his left? Certain things I think, once you realize, again, being a student of the game, I'm not knocking LeBron, but I think some of it is like, okay, the guy who is eighth man on the bench probably could call some of these things out if we're going to be realistic.
To Evan's point, I don't think it is now, but I think it was when he was on the Cavs with the guy before Lou. What's his name?
Mike
The
Brown?
international. No.
David
No,
Blatz.
Yeah,
Blatt.
Blatz.
Thank you.
Oh,
It was a knock when it
yeah.
was Blatt, because you remember that play when Blatt drew it up and he wanted LeBron to inbound, and LeBron was like, no, I'm not inbounding this. You're such and such is inbounding it. Give me the shot. I'm taking it at the corner. That was the televised one, right? Back then, I was a LeBron fan. I'm not now because he's a Laker. I was watching a lot more of those Cavs, and you would see that. Like, you would see the interaction where he would completely undermine Blatt a number of times during the season. He'd call a set. LeBron would not run that set. Like, you would see the blatant of it. I don't think that's what's happening with Darvin Ham per se, but it has happened with LeBron in the past, and it is a knock against him in how he may not be receptive so much to directions from coaching, or at least coaching he doesn't respect. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Let me give LeBron this credit though, and he deserves all the credit, from this week. Yes, it's not the Larry O'Brien, but still,
Gary.
to put forth the effort that he did. Shout out to LeBron, shout out to the Lakers. What I will say is that LeBron has done things that other players have tried to emulate, and they have failed. One being, wherever I go, contention follows. Two being, I'll pick the coach, and that will work.
And the team.
You see, Giannis, I don't know if he made the right pick.
I agree.
Getting rid of some structure
We'll see.
to get to what he would prefer. KD has been in this wilderness now for 5 years.
I can't put KD in that conversation. He's never dictated a team. It's never been his team. So, like, since he left OKC, KD is not even in that conversation because he has never dictated what the team around him.
No, I'm talking two different things. I'm talking this I'm going to greener pastures to get the success my way. That's what I mean. So two different things. One is the coach thing, and the other is the I'm choosing my next destination, and success is gonna follow me there.
Still can't give you KD on that, bro.
All right, listen.
KD is never
how the Nets work out. And we'll
Terribly.
see. TBD on Phoenix. But
No, I mean, to Ev's credit, and I know we're wrapping up. To Ev's credit, nobody has done it to the level of success that LeBron has.
Agreed.
No,
That's all
nobody
I'm
has.
saying.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
and that's fair. Like he has
I
gone
will
and
ask this
dictated
question,
his
though.
terms and made things happen from top to bottom, and he's got it. But also, too, he's taken quite a lot of L's when it comes to great players as well, too. So his method has some success, but it also has some flaws as well. It's not a foolproof kind of situation. He's had some struggles and some. For somebody to be as elite as he is, some bad struggles along the way. But nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, if you're looking at chips, what can you say to this man? He got
the longevity
he got 4
helps.
chips.
The longevity helps where you can ride out those L's. But I'll ask this then. Is that in terms of what LeBron is able to, it's no knock to LeBron, but it's a different NBA where guys are more willing to team up. Had players had the same type of stance of, nah, I don't want to team up with you. I want to beat you. Would LeBron still have the same type? I think we have to also look at the type of NBA that we're looking at right now.
I think he would. Here's why I think he would. Because
I don't agree with that. Because certain guys wouldn't team up. Yeah.
No, here's what I'm saying. His talent level, and one thing that LeBron has done better than some of his counterparts is uplifted people and magnified their games to his benefit.
Okay. Yes, to his
benefit. So I think it would, just because he would still find the pieces. Now, it may not be Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love kind of pieces, but it's still pieces, and it would still even out, and he'd still come out the victor, because at the end of the day, you need a superstar to win in this league. But guys, it's been a great episode. We have the OT segment as always, and it's only exclusively on YouTube. So if you like the conversation and you want to see what more we have for you, we have some additional content. So go on, switch over to YouTube and look at our OT segment as we dive into some other topics as well. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always. Pod Mamba, great to have you back. We'll see you guys next week. Evan with his celebration. You guys take care.
What's up, guys, and thanks for listening. I want you to do 2 things for me right now. 1, give this episode a thumbs up, and 2, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on all the socials at the 3on3 Podcast, and send us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you, and tune in next week.